I mean, we're talking about something that isn't gonna change.
I know.
I mean,
but it's still
kind of beating a dead horse, but it's just you would say it's interesting to see.
Oh, I tricked him into it.
It's interesting to see that that this stuff does happen in professional events.
Right.
Welcome back to episode 36 of the Loggerhead Golf Podcast. I want to start off this morning congratulating Kayla Thompson for earning her full status on the WPGA Australian Tour. So, pretty cool to see that as soon as she gets over there, she put her nose to the grindstone and got full status. So, congrats to her.
Congrats, Kayla.
Yeah.
Looks like she's playing well over there.
Yeah, Australia seems like her place, or that's at least what her Instagram post said.
Yeah.
Because was tied for 15th in their first event this week, so great playing, Kayla.
Yep, good playing.
Yeah, so off to a good start. And then, thank you to all the viewers out there. We actually won Fujikura's Best Build Award. So they sent us an awesome banner for that. So thanks for continuing to watch our YouTube channel, continue to comment and view our Instagram as well. And thanks to the team at Fujikura for the awesome banner and the swag bags. So PGA Tour in Hawaii, first 2 weeks. We had a interesting playoff on almost a playoff on week one with Chris Kirk and Sanjay Thilagata, or however you say his name, tongue twister.
Sahith Thagala.
Yeah.
Close enough.
I thought you were going for a mixture between Sung J M and
you two
Sahith.
pronouncing words. That's a.
We could just call him Sam.
Is his name interesting?
It's interesting.
You know, I did an entire video yesterday and didn't say it once. Okay,
You did good.
So, first event, 29 under 1, 28, second place. And then, of course, last week, I guess really feels like yesterday, but Grayson Murray with that bomb putt on 18, rolling that lab link to make the...
2 lap putters in the playoff.
Yep. So,
What was the
cool
winning
to see.
score at Sony?
I don't remember.
17.
17.
17 got into a playoff.
Which the Tournament of Champions has always been a pitch and putt anyway. So
Yeah, so
It's one of the longest golf courses on tour.
well, let's not not last week. Kapalua.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Cam Smith set a record there, right? I mean, it feels like every year a record's broken. I mean, Sung J M broke the all-time birdies made in an event in a week at Kapalua, 34, I believe. Imagine making 34 birdies in 4 days.
I say in 72 holes.
We had our longest drive, right?
Yeah. Every year, though, because of the wind, there's like a weird hole where Max Home, I think, had 458 yards, 475, something like that.
Yeah.
On a hole that's typically plays into the wind, and then the wind switch. I mean, they essentially didn't have wind at all in the tournament. Right. So that's part of the reason why the scoring was
so low.
Insane. And then how long is that golf course, Kyle?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know if you hit the fairway, you get 80 to 100 yards of roll just about every time.
It's about 8,000 yards.
I was say Kapalua can stretch
they can't stretch it out any more than what they already played the tournament at.
Yeah.
When they got a couple par threes that are over 2 bills, so it's not like the par threes are short.
Well, I say several par fours that are over 500 yards.
And trust me, I get it. Like you said, the fair's running out.
Yeah.
But I think kind of the point you're alluding to is you can give the best players in the world 8,000 yards. They're still, if it's wide open, no wind, they're going to tear the place apart.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what you look at a really good golfer, what club does he have in his bag that he or she have in their bag that they're not afraid to swing? Drivers usually for really good golfers is a strong suit, and they're not afraid to see it. So when you get distance and they know they have to pull just one club out of the bag, I mean, the formula is already kind of there for it to be pretty easy. And then we turn around to this past week at Wai'alae.
A totally different golf course.
Dog legs everywhere, tight,
short.
I mean, how
was
long?
It stretch out?
I think it was 71.
Does it get that long?
Maybe not even 68.
I was gonna say I thought it was under 7,000.
68. Throw a little bit of wind in there, and you cut the scoring almost in half. Well, I guess we could say field average at least.
I think the biggest contrast between the two courses, besides
obviously wind. I mean, Wai'alae's a lot flatter.
Right. Well, I was gonna say green size. How big are the greens at Kapalua?
Huge. I mean,
they're huge.
They look massive. Yeah,
they're huge greens. And then how big are the greens at Wai'alae?
Tiny.
They're tiny, little postage stamps. And then the score was 10 shots different.
You know what Wai'alae reminds me of? Ennisbrook. the Copperhead.
Kinda. Yeah.
Because even when you watch some holes on TV, you don't see anything else going around that golf hole. Like, it's just like, it looks tight, tree lined with just little dog legs in it. And Valspar is one of the shortest, if not the shortest course on tour, and it's usually the hardest to play. And that's probably our little bit of rant with the USGA.
Well, I was going to say, I think it's
still roll the ball back.
I just think it's ironic that you got one of the longest golf courses on tour that traditionally has some of the lowest scores on tour and scoring records broken seemingly every year.
And yes, we understand they're hitting off a mountain.
Yeah, and that's part of it. And then you have one of the shortest golf courses on the PGA Tour the following week, and it played theoretically 10 shots harder because the winning score was 10 shots higher.
I mean, you look at scoring average, field average, at least.
So if the golf ball goes too far, then the flip side of that is that golf courses need to be longer to make them hard. And then we just showed that the longest golf course on tour is not that hard. Mm-hmm. So obviously distance isn't the problem. What's the real problem? Why are scores so low now on the PGA Tour?
Access
it's not the golf ball.
To fitness and technology.
Yeah, it's the golfer.
Yeah.
Right? It's the golfer. The golfer's just better now.
I would also, I always say the scores are better now because the golf course conditions are just exponentially better.
I say the greens conditions, the greens roll so much truer. I mean, it's just fairway conditions. The fairways are much more pure. I mean, you have a better lie.
And I think we probably said this before, but if you go to a golf course that is kind of up to that PGA Tour caliber or, professional tournament caliber conditions, usually you play 2 to 3 shots better than you typically do just because better lies. I mean, you don't have to worry about a lot of things.
Particularly when you play the ball down.
For sure.
I do wonder what, like in the 70s or 80s when the Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and those guys were tournament conditions, what it was like versus what it's like today.
Well, I mean, Jack Nicklaus said it all the time. The reason why he switched putters every week was because of green speed. Some green speeds got so slow that he had to go to that huge McGregor putter to just hammer the ball.
Funny story. So I was watching this has been several years ago, watching one of the old Shell's Wonderful World of Golf reruns.
Yeah, I love watching those.
They need to come back out with that.
It'd be cool to do
something like that. Like well, I guess they have tried to do it. Didn't mean to cut you off.
I can't remember what the two golfers were that were playing, but they were playing. I can't remember the golf course, but they were playing a new golf course in Hawaii, ironically enough. And this was like the mid '60s, and I remember on this one hole, one of the players had hit his approach shot right over the flag, probably 15 feet over the flag. Like, so he's past the pin, about 15 feet, putting downhill. And Gene Whitaker's like, "Oh, he's got to be very careful with this putt. This is a fast putt here." And then the stroke the guy took, he almost made a full turn on it. Right? I mean, it looked like he was making a full driver swing almost.
No way.
And he left it short.
Jeez.
And this was a fast putt.
For that golf
course in that time period.
Well, in the late 70s, the average stimp on tour was 8.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that's about what this looked like. Yeah. So when Gene Whitaker was saying this was a fast putt, he's got to be careful with it. It could get away from him. I was expecting, like a modern stroke of where like you look at the ball too hard and it rolls past the hole. And he made a full turn at it.
Whoa.
And even like the microphone picked up the sound. It was correct.
Jeez. Hey, sometimes it'd be like that.
I mean, sometimes.
You back in the 70s, averaged an 8 on a stimp. I mean, you can look at when they go over to the British Open every year.
Yeah.
You could tell who really struggles with putting is not going to play well in an Open Championship because the average stimp at an Open Championship's maybe a 9, maybe
9
a
to 10. Yeah.
You see most of the players throwing fits when they go from putting on 13, 14 stimp every week to going overseas and they're having a putt on a carpet. And that's where certain tournaments, you're like, you don't have to make the greens crazy fast. Mm-hmm. Now, there's some course designs that, yes, it's meant to be played that way. Kapalua
is one of those.
Is meant to play that way because it's not about flying the hole to yardage. You should use the contours of the green to move the ball to where you need it to go. Which me personally, that's kind of my favorite style of golf. If it's just kind of carry, fix your pitch mark and your ball's right next to it.
I was gonna say. I
just feel like there's not a lot of character there.
I love when the ground is firm, hard and firm and fat. Most golfers don't like to see a brown golf course.
We're gonna see it this year,
but I like a brown golf course, especially in the summertime when it gets dried out and that ball rolls.
We're gonna see it this summer.
Think so?
Pinehurst.
Well, yeah, true. Hopefully so.
Number 2.
But
they back again. Pretty sure, right?
Yep.
I think so. Yeah.
So, but I mean, it goes into there's just a lot of things going on, and it doesn't discount the fact that Chris Kirk put on a clinic at Kapalua. He didn't miss a shot that final round. I mean, what did he have to shoot the final round to win by 2? I mean, I think he shot 63, something ridiculous.
Yeah, on a par 73.
Yeah, and didn't have 64, 63, didn't have a blemish on the scorecard. And then you flip around to this past week where Grayson Murray had to play hole 18 twice. Yeah. 18 in regulation, stiffs a wedge in there. You know what you have to do. Comes up clutch, hits a wedge in there to 2 feet, and then in the playoff drains 40-footer. 40-footer. I mean, these guys are good.
Oh, yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Grayson Murray, he's a local Raleigh guy, North Carolina guy. You've probably seen the videos. He's kind of gone through he's had his own battles, his own demons the last few years, and looks like he's kind of just like Chris Kirk. Yeah. They've turned some things around, and their golf game's definitely benefited from it. Brings up another point. Did you guys see what happened on hole 18?
No, so tell me a little bit more about it.
One of the final groups coming in. PGA Tour and the PGA Tour loves showing you every shot tracer, drones everywhere.
We've got a lot of coverage on the golf course.
A lot of coverage on the golf course.
You just don't get to watch it.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But it's there,
Carl Wan, who is a rookie on the PGA Tour, he essentially got into the fields because John Rahm dropped out. He was 126. Now he's 125. So,
thanks, Rahm.
He's been Carl Wan. He's great on the Korn Ferry Tour. Played really good this week. He's, I think, 1 back of the lead, 2 back of the lead coming into 18. Pumps his second shot right. Pumps it. They have videos showing the ball. There's a white tint. There's a white tent, and the ball, you just see the ball go towards the white tent, don't know where it goes after.
Video shows the ball sailing off the face of the earth.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yes. Gets a free drop. Makes par, finishes tied for 4th. Because a PGA Tour rules official said they are virtually certain that the ball ended up somewhere in that tent. Now, how many in you guys' rounds where you're playing a golf course in a tough hole, you'd love for there to be a tent on the right side?
I wish they followed me around everywhere.
And again, I'm not going to call, because technically Carl Wan, he didn't make any.
He didn't do anything by the letter of the law of the rules of the game. He didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't do anything wrong, so he's not I'm not calling him a cheater, right? That's egregious, but I would say
that's a big word.
Nice.
That was a good word for you.
I'm just saying, you can watch the video and the ball sails over the back side of the tent.
Right.
And then all they do is just go, the PGA Tour rules official just says, yeah, just drop it right there.
Yeah.
Now here's the difference. 4th and 5th place was like $110,000. So all those guys tying for 5th, or I guess because there's probably ties, they finish outside the top 5. Well, now that affects points from getting into
the next event.
That affects a lot of things.
Yeah. So we've talked about how much stuff is going on in the PGA Tour and how many rankings and everything else there is. So there's a lot that goes with the money earnings.
I was virtually certain Alabama was going to beat Michigan.
But it didn't happen.
But it didn't happen. Virtually certain is just such an up in the air word. You could be virtually certain of anything. Doesn't mean it's right. So, but does PGA Tour need to get rid of these tents on the side of these golf holes? Because it seems like every single tournament that there's something close, a player's just going to pump it in and get a free drop.
Well, you can't get rid of it because then you can't sell sponsorships and sponsor areas. I think what it really boils down to is with all of the TV coverage on the golf course, do we use instant replay to make rulings on the golf course?
Supposedly the rules officials do. I mean, how many times has a caller called in and a penalty get assessed?
Right.
So you're telling me that they finished the round, signed the scorecard, and the PGA Tour officials watched that video and they were like, you know what, we made the right call.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, to me, it's just when you think about golf as a sport, it makes no sense.
But at the same time, you know, what is golf known for? Integrity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the integrity of the game and the players
because
governing themselves.
The players have to govern themselves, but also too, there's rules set in place that it's supposed to be for the entire field. You're not just affecting one player; you're affecting the entire field there.
Right.
Specifically, the 6 guys within a few shots of each other, right there.
Well, everyone that finished behind him got affected by that penalty, or lack thereof. I don't know. I was gonna say I think it's a tough question when you look at, you know, do we
has the rules officials gone to crap since Slugger White left? How long was Slugger out there?
Forever. I was gonna say, do we lean on the technology we have to? I mean, if you think about like watching an NFL football game, you know, how many play reviews are there during a game?
On the Bills game last night, about 47. It was
and
wild.
How long does it make it drag out?
A lot.
You know, is that something we want in golf? I mean, do we want to have reviews in golf and drag the? I mean, we're already talking about, you know, a round of golf on PGA Tour lasts 6 hours.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to drag that out further?
Threesomes playing in 6 hours, twosomes playing in 6 hours.
Right.
I mean,
because I think that's the only alternative to what we have right now is to say, okay, well, we're going to fully lean on the camera coverage we have on the golf course and the technology we have, shot trackers and everything else.
I think it's simple. I think the USGA needs to change the rule of TIO, temporary movable obstructions.
What would you change it to? Well, what is it now?
Right now, technically, you just have to be visibly certain. Okay. And you don't have to find the ball. I think you have to find the ball.
I think the word is virtually certain.
Oh, virtually certain.
You have to be virtually certain.
Which makes right. how are you virtually certain? I mean, does it just take one person to say, "Yeah, I saw the ball go towards that"?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that word needs to change. I think you have to find the golf ball.
All right, but what about in cases where you may not be able to find that golf ball?
It's rub of the green. You hit a bad shot. It's just like anything in life where your ball plugs in the lip of a bunker.
Yeah.
One guy's ball might roll down the lip.
There has to be a penalty for hitting a bad shot.
Correct.
There's too much money on the line.
Correct.
You know, nobody wants to be rewarded for bad play.
Yeah.
Correct.
I say realistically,
100%.
that sponsor tent hadn't been there, you know, where would that ball have been?
Out of bounds.
Right, so he's making probably at best bogey.
A double.
You know,
he'll have to make a great bogey.
I was going to say it'd be a great bogey, but he's making at best a bogey.
Yeah, you said it best. Players have to be penalized for bad shots.
Yep.
And you see it time and time again. Players get rewarded for bad shots on the PGA Tour.
I mean, one of the ones that sticks out in my mind is Austin Country Club. I know they're not going to play the Dale match play. The short par 4 on is it number 13 or 14?
Sure.
It's that short par 4 where there's water in front.
Yeah. And players, when it's downwind, they just sail it in the tent
behind the green, so they just fly into that tent or bounce it off of it back onto the green. Now, if you're playing that golf course normally, that tent's not there. You don't have that option. You know, that ball's going over the green into the water hazard on the other side. So, I think there needs to be some way to manage.
Could you treat it like a touchdown in the NFL where it's a sheet of glass if you
break the plane?
Yeah, break the plane.
Well, technically speaking, that's the way it is with a hazard or out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, like your ball has to be essentially
but now
just touching it.
That tent is blocking that ball from reaching that plane.
Correct. So if there's a certain point on the tent, like maybe if you hit the front, you know, obviously this is all theoretic, but you hit the front of the tent to bounce it off there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of like the last scene in Happy Gilmore. Well, shouldn't have been there. He plinged it down. He won the tournament. But if it hits the top of the tent or flies over, should that be treated like a pane of glass at that point?
I wouldn't mind that.
Because I think that'd be a way to just clear it up and not make it overly complicated.
Well, I mean, I think it's super easy because you see it more, again, you see it at Carnoustie and then St. Andrews. that wall.
Yeah.
If your ball or that fence, and if your ball is just bare, like they deem it as if your ball's touching the fence, it's out of bounds.
Well, I was going to say, what about this then? What if you make those tents an integral part of the golf course? So now if your ball,
you got to take it unplayable or play it.
Unplayable or play it
instead of free relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
It would change the strategy quite a bit of caddy and player.
Mm-hmm.
You see people you will see people looking at where the 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think what you see at most now is this past year, you saw it at Eastlake on number 18, the par 5.
Yeah.
When that wind was howling and they're trying to go for that par 5 and 2. And how many times did you hear a caddy and player go, just aim at the 10?
Yeah.
Just aim at the 10 because it's an easy up and down from over there. But short right in that bunker is not.
I'm trying to think, wasn't it, and it might have been at Copperhead course where we're just on number 18 where a player on Sunday
Purposely
final round
sailed it, yeah.
Well, they hooked their shot left, bounces off the tent and bounces onto the green. They got a birdie putt.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it happens.
I look at that as no different as a tree, right?
I was gonna say that stuff like that's gonna happen, but still, there's definitely.
I think there's definitely a solution, whether it's like you're saying, Kyle, almost having a glass wall at the top of the.
Right.
I mean, because if it hits the top of one of those tents,
that's a really bad shot.
Yeah.
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 And again, it all comes down to we got to start penalizing bad shots.
Right.
I mean, it's not unfair.
No.
It's not unfair at all.
Well, whatever they do, if they do it the same way for everyone, it won't be unfair.
But that's the thing. What happens if the group behind them, the same thing happened, right?
Right.
They saw a ball, and then what if one of the guys in the group goes, nah.
I ain't falling for that.
Then therefore the player has to take a lost ball, has to replay a shot. So the rules official can't override that other guy in the group.
Right. And that's
so
my question.
The players essentially said, rules official, it's your call. It's like, no, actually, players, it's your call.
And that's what I was going to say. And what was the player's name?
Carl won.
Carl won. So who was he playing with?
I don't know.
I don't remember either. But where was that guy at in this whole process? What was his input on the situation?
I mean, you gotta ask it. I mean, he's gonna get. And I think this is more of a officiating issue.
Yeah.
But the players have to police themselves too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Why wasn't he there? I mean, maybe he was virtually certain as well that Carl's golf ball was in the spectator tent.
I mean, can I say
then slid him a 20 at the end of the round?
Better be more than a 20.
You just made about $100,000 more. Yeah. So yeah, it better be more than a 20. I mean, we're talking about something that isn't gonna change.
I know.
I mean,
but it's still
kind of beating a dead horse, but it's just interesting. You would say it's interesting to see.
Oh, I tricked him into it.
It's interesting to see that that this stuff does happen in professional events.
Right.
And again, we're not calling it cheating.
No, it's just this kind of the lay of the land, so to speak, when you have these big events with all the sponsors and the spectator areas and everything that goes along with that. So how do you work your way around that?
And in today's day and age, I mean, Stuart Sink said it best. Players now can come out on tour and have 25 years of course experience in their hands due to data.
Right.
So if you're not thinking these players know where they can and can't hit it, you're crazy.
Oh, they know for sure.
They know for sure. I mean, if I know my miss with a snap hook's the 3-wood and it's left, and I'd see a big old tent over there to the right,
that could save my ball.
That could save my ball. Or I can aim at and know that my ball is, if it hits it, great.
Yeah.
If I hook it like I normally do, I'm in the fairway.
So Rory would have loved a 10 on 18.
On the left. Snapper. But all in all, PGA Tour wise, I mean, good starts to the year.
Yeah.
I think 2 deserving winners. But I think when you're looking at the thoroughbreds in the golf world, they kind of showed up over there in Dubai.
Yeah, that was fun, especially because Fleetwood for the first time didn't choke with a putter in the final round. Unfortunately, that's been his Achilles heel, and I hate to say it so bluntly, but he had 5 opportunities to win last year. And coming down the final 9 holes, the putter just went stone cold.
Well, he's still got to do it on American soil.
Yeah,
that's where I disagree. He's won some pretty big tournaments.
He has.
Winning is hard.
But he
plays in all the big tournaments.
He wants to win on the PGA Tour.
Yes.
I mean, right now he's kind of the Colin Montgomery of his generation.
That's a statement.
Yeah.
Wow.
But tell me I'm wrong.
He wants to say it.
I mean, the Colin
Interesting.
As of right now, I mean, you got to admit, that's a perfect analogy.
I would probably put...
He's maybe a little bit more liked here in America than what Colin Montgomery was. Well, a lot more liked than what Colin Montgomery was. But he's still basically, record-wise, Colin Montgomery right now until he wins in the U.S.
Has Colin Montgomery not won in the U.S.?
Never could do it.
Well.
Something about that tea.
What?
Boston Tea Party.
Oh, jeez. No, I would put Lee Westwood up there with that conversation.
Lee Westwood won in the U.S. He just didn't win a major. Yeah. I mean, he should have won a major.
I mean, but that's the thing. When I think of Colin Montgomery, I don't think about not winning on American soil. I think of not winning a major.
Yeah, but that was what they always talked about.
Actually, Colin Montgomery has won on a U.S. soil.
Where did he win?
A Champions Tour event.
That doesn't count.
A major. The senior PGA.
I'm sorry. Wrong.
But how about that, Rory? I saw something interesting. See that? So he on, I think 15 it was, that he 3-putted from 2 feet.
Yeah.
It happens.
Someone put up stats, I think, of 110,000 2-footers recorded, like 100, like only maybe like 60 putts were missed from that length. You know how many putts were 3-putted from that length?
0.
I think like 1. So is that a mechanics issue? Is that a putting issue? Or is that just a freak lack of concentration?
I think he was kind of in panic mode because I think on 14 coming down, they had that leaderboard on the right side, and he saw Fleetwood was right there. Because Fleetwood, wasn't necessarily super close because he birdied 17 and 18.
Well, they were paired together.
But I don't think he was paying attention. If you look at his demeanor on the front 9, it looked like on Thursday when he teed off.
Did he have that little 62? Skip in his step?
Like he was just kind of keeping to himself. And as soon as he got to 14, and it shifted, you could tell he shifted. So I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was that little jittery and just kind of overthinking something simple.
I would put it down to, missing the first one. It happens, right? Maybe a little bit of lack of concentration.
The ball went 5 feet by the hole.
But then you get shock. Because, you don't miss that putt. Like a professional golfer doesn't miss a 2-foot putt very often. So when you do, it's a bit of a shock. And he probably just didn't regroup quick enough to make the next one after it.
He did birdie the next hole.
And so he obviously got over it.
Way better than Ernie Els at Augusta.
Well, there's a few situations with Ernie Els you can label off. In fact, Ernie was probably the one time that
to me he just doesn't
he
look.
5-putted from 4 feet,
and I know he goes back and forth between putters, but to me he just doesn't ever look comfortable over that spider.
Nah,
he seems like he does that come up out of it, leaves all those putts out to the right.
He to me looks the most comfortable with his Newport, but I don't think he putts the best with it.
Should he go back to the centered shafted Scotty that he used to win the U.S. Open?
If you can win.
I think his best putter that he used was in 2014 when he was using that Nike, which was shaped like his Newport.
It's a Newport, yeah. Let's face it.
It had the weird Nike grooves.
I just mean like that head shape.
Yeah.
So the traditional Answer head shape, but even like a Newport, I would say is a little bit different than the Answer. It's a more blocky than what a traditional Answer is. But
that being said, when you look at top players in the world, and you put them in the same event, that's what you want to see. You want to see Rory. You want to see a duel down to the last hole.
Yeah.
And not to say that the Sony Open wasn't, but the Sony Open didn't have the field that Dubai did.
Right.
And then you have players that to have Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood battle it out. You can't ask for much more. Now, did you guys see that Rory announced that he's going to play like 9 times before the Masters? 6 times, 7 times before the Masters. He usually only plays 5. So he's going to play more.
Well, I mean, he better. He's got the PGA Tour schedule he wants now.
How many wins do you think Rory has this year?
2.
2?
Yeah. And not a major.
I was going to say maybe 3 or 4.
What do you think, Daryl?
I think he wins a major this year and has 2 wins.
So kind of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's going to at least win 5 times.
I was going to say, I think when you look at
his ball striking right now,
well, but if you look at
he had one freak miss with that driver on 18. I don't think he snap hooked a single drive all week in that just 18 tee ball. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
I mean, you got to think like this though. He's going to play mainly limited field events with no cuts.
He's playing a lot. No, I mean he's playing a lot on the European Tour too.
Well, those are just extra opportunities.
So are we going to see some backdoor 62s to win tournaments like we've seen with Rory in the past?
Might.
Probably.
Yeah.
You give a guy like that a chance, 4 rounds guaranteed.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But I mean, I think the cool thing too about seeing those drives are hitting. What driver were they hitting?
New QI.
They both had the new QI in the back.
Yeah, they had a
now,
new one.
Interesting thing about
Oh,
Rory's driver,
You got it out again.
it's not the LS head. Yeah, Rory's not even playing the LS head.
Wonder why that is.
Needed that extra forgiveness.
I was going to say, if
The
you
year of high
watch our
MLA.
Tech Talk coming out, you might understand a little bit about it. But that's good validation for TaylorMade.
Yeah.
Because it's been a couple of years to where you see at least all the staffers playing the same driver.
Right.
So that means this new one has to be pretty good.
I say it'll be big for them this year to get all their guys into the new QI10.
Yeah. But anything else you guys want to hit on, golf world wise?
No, I mean, I think the biggest rumor right now is speculation. Obviously, he's supposed to play this week, but Wyndham Clark going to LIV to be on Rahm's team. Allegedly, he's been in talks for 3 weeks now about signing on Rahm's team. That's a really cool team name, too. Legion. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to play, so if he tees it up this week and avoids interviews, kind of like what we saw with Rahm, or do the whole Marshawn Lynch thing, you know why I'm here.
I'm just here to not get fined.
Well, I think LIV's first event's February 14th, something like that.
So he's got a little while to play before he.
Yeah, and why would you go and announce it right now? If you know you're going to go to LIV, you might as well play in the PGA Tour events that you can.
If you know you're going to go to LIV and get suspended and not be able to play PGA Tour events, you might as well keep your lips shut and play.
And
then just go when you go.
Do we need more information from LIV right now about what's going on? I think it's kind of ridiculous about a month out and we don't know who's Rahm's team is.
I was going to say, it does feel like they're a lot more in the shadows.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. But honestly, I think some of that is down to the PGA Tour and how they've reacted with a lot of the stuff.
They don't want to put stuff out too early and then have it just be crapped on.
Yeah.
During events of other tournaments. That kind of makes sense. I just feel like if there's things that are changing about LIV, whether it's format, anything, it should be out there to kind of build up some hype.
I agree 100%.
I can't say on mic.
I was going to say, I agree 100% because right now, obviously, the PGA Tour is getting their season started and has had a good start to the season, we would say. The DP World Tour, the event in Dubai, has had a good start. And then it's been crickets from LIV so far.
Yeah. Now, they have done their, team photo shoots.
I mean... Yeah, whoop-de-woo.
Does that get you going, Daryl?
Oh, yeah.
You were excited about it.
You're locked in now. You're locked in. Daryl, who's your favorite LIV team? Just say a ridiculous name. It's probably a team name.
Probably, the Range Goats.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
But
that's the thing. There's a lot up in the air. Good news is we have at least some tournaments here and there to fill us in before that whole mess starts. But you see players being more and more vocal each week about how they just want to play all together again and things like that. It's like, well, you guys had that option.
I'll say eventually that's going to happen.
Yeah.
What do y'all think of Kisner commentating now on the PGA Tour?
That was fun.
Or on the telecast.
Yeah.
It was a good refreshment in the booth.
A little change of pace.
Yeah, I like it.
He hasn't gone full Paul Asing or Johnny Miller yet.
Lord, I hope not.
What's that?
The fastest way for me to turn off a golf event is a bad announcer.
Yeah. Same.
And I cannot stand listening to Paul Asinger.
It's the fastest way for me to go to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Golf's already boring. Watching wise.
I say it was kind of interesting hearing him mention that one of the things he learned from his first weeks on commentating was how much he was watching PGA Tour live before he went on air to learn about putts.
Oh, and he's kicking himself why he wasn't doing that before tournaments that he plays in.
Right. And if you think about it too, I mean, they've even and it may have actually been Asinger said like if he was playing a golf tournament, he would watch the early coverage to see which way putts are breaking, what are they doing around the holes, what putts are guys missing, kind of get an idea of lines. Kind of brings up the idea or the question.
Idea
or question.
Got him.
Brings up the idea.
I got a good idea right here, Mo. Let me tell you what. If you're a PGA Tour player, how much homework are you doing before a round? Are you watching game film, so to speak?
I mean, I think in this day and age, everybody's going to use the technology around them to get every advantage possible.
Yeah.
And
would you be comfortable doing that?
If it's not illegal?
I mean, it's not.
I say there's nothing that says
I was going to say Justin Thomas has been pretty vocal about that's what he's done since he's been on tour.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But no,
that's racing, Daryl, not PGA Tour. Well,
unless you're Patrick Reed.
Oh, wow.
Grab a shovel.
No, I would use it for sure.
Yeah.
It's to an advantage. Yep.
I've never been really keen on even if someone's on a remote same line as mine, because I'm a big believer in trust your first read.
Yeah. But it's not even that. You're just watching other people putt around a hole and see what way the
I would,
moving.
and that's the thing. I probably wouldn't care so much about the putting aspect. I would look at what the contours are doing with shots coming into the green.
Same. I would be thinking about that
because it's your ball striking.
Oh,
and
wow.
A great shot sets up a good birdie look.
Okay.
So
unless you missed a putt.
Yeah, but the percentage of making a putt outside of 8 feet is less than 30%. So like I'm being a little bit realistic here. So like that's why I personally, even when I'm playing with just you guys and you guys are same line, I'm not standing like as close to get behind you to watch it because frankly, you should already kind of know what that putt does.
For me personally, and this is what I've seen even playing in scramble events.
Yeah.
And you guys probably realize this too. You put your guys in order, and sorry if you played with me before. The worst putter
you throwing your team under the bus here. I'm kidding.
Goes first, and then you're watching everybody's read. But here's the problem: some guys they don't roll it true. They cut putt it or they hook putt it.
No, I feel like you're targeting that at me. All right. Just cause I hook a putt every now and then don't mean you can throw me under the bus like that.
Well,
somewhere between Miles and Caleb, you'll find a straight putt.
You just don't get a true roll. You have the same line every time, and because someone how they come into impact or their path in their face, it's going to make that putt react a little bit different.
I can tell you right now, if I were playing on the PGA Tour, I would 100% watch as much golf before I teed it up as I could.
I'd agree, just so I could see wins, stuff like that.
And it's not even that I'm worried about how they're hitting that putt. I just want to see how the ball's rolling around the hole. Because I will say, green reading to me is a skill.
Oh, yeah,
it is.
Right? And I don't think I'm a very good green reader. I feel like I suck at it. But what I do have is a good memory. And I putt 99% of the time based off of memory.
Give yourself a pat on the back there, bud.
So I want to see as much information as I can going into the round and use that to help me read my putts when I'm in the round.
It's fair. Good point.
So it doesn't matter to me how their stroke is, what they're doing, where they're putting from. I just want to see general breaks around the hole because that's going to help me know what the general break around the hole is when I'm hitting my putt.
Yeah.
Good news is none of us play on PGA Tour.
Yeah, I ain't got to worry about it.
And then there's that. So.
But hey, I mean, it's cool though to see like Kiz where he is in his game.
Yeah,
he's still saying he's learning things.
Well, I mean,
you're talking about one of the best putters statistically on tour ever.
Yeah, very solid putter. But I mean,
has to be because he can't hit it out of the shadow.
Learner. You know, you never mastered the game.
Yeah, if he focuses on ball striking a little more.
You know what the most shocking thing about him being in the booth was?
What?
He didn't crack open one beer on the air.
It's kind of frowned upon.
Or drop one cuss word.
Yeah, and I was proud of him for that.
Yeah.
Well, bring back show and tell this week. Yeah. So Miles scoured the interwebs, as they say, and found us a few to look at.
Let's see what we got.
I sent one in for Miles to put up. See what you guys think. I'm not going to tell you which one though. Yeah, buddy. That's the one I sent.
See, to me, this is just a bogey. It goes back to like the thing we joke about, like the LeBron James mid-season championship thing.
Whoa!
You're getting a ring or a trophy just because you're already doing something.
A mid-season champ though is that like they were actual champions though. They won the league.
Yeah, they won the team.
Like
they won the team thing that they made up.
Right. They didn't make up. That was to start the season. They knew there was going to be a team thing.
But LIV made up a team championship.
Well, they're a new league.
That's fine.
It's no different than the XFL having a team championship. Yeah, there's the NFL. They're still an XFL champions.
You're right.
See, this is why I wanted Miles put up there, because I've seen people hate on this. If you don't like sports, or I mean, if you don't like this, then you don't like sports. You're stupid. You don't like winners. Because ultimately, every single sport, national champions, SEC champions, baseball champions, every champion gets a ring. So I think it's cool that LIV was like, hey, we have a team game. Let's give out diamond rings. There's not a single professional sport that doesn't give out rings to the team. Red Bull got rings for winning Formula 1. Is that stupid?
What are your thoughts, Daryl?
I don't dig the ring. I don't know. I get it for football. I don't know. I don't get it for golf. Like, as a golfer, I would never wear that ring.
Well, football players don't wear the rings either until they're retired and showing it off at events. Nick Saban doesn't wear his 7 rings.
It'd be hard for Tom Brady to wear his.
It's only 7.
Well, the Nays have it. Shank. I don't care. I say Shank. I don't care.
Yeah.
Y'all are golf nerds. Typical golf purists. Yep. All right. I think it's freaking awesome.
Good for you.
Good.
Get a whittle wing for your team game.
I'll remember that when next time one of y'all's teams win and they win. It's like, oh, this is such a cool ring. It's like, no. You said rings are
I don't think I've ever looked at a team ring and said that's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. I mean, it's cool that they won the championship.
I'd rather see a badass trophy than
same.
a silly little ring that's covered in diamonds that's iced out.
And plus, how many million did they win for winning that?
Yeah,
I think it was 20. That they split between. Yeah. So
I mean, it's just shelf appeal.
Yeah.
Lame. Y'all lame.
Oh, no.
And if you guys say this is cool, I'm going to freak the hell out. I'm going to freak the hell out.
So you don't like this?
This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in the world of golf.
But this is a lifetime achievement, not
How
a made-up
is it a lifetime? He's been on tour already.
Well, he made it back.
And not only that, he already has another card. They give them their cards at the end of Pumpkin Ridge. And then they're like, you know it'd be cool to put a PGA Tour card on? Let's put it on a putter. Why?
What did we say about the ring? It was shelf appeal?
Yeah.
It's shelf appeal.
He didn't win anything.
He won a tour card.
Cool.
Played good on an established tour.
What do you think, Daryl?
Shank.
Shank?
Yeah, terrible.
I wouldn't mind it on like a huge monument. Like a putter makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Flush. Best thing ever. It's not the year of ball
You're
strike.
such a hater. You're such a hater.
But see, that's a trophy.
No, it's not. They put a shitty super stroke on it. I apologize for the French. You couldn't at least put a nice grip on it?
All right. Flush. On to the next.
Sorry, Super Stroke.
No, I have a Super Stroke grip on my putter. But if this is supposed to be a trophy, put like a fancy leather something grip on it or something that shows all his wins from the Korn Ferry Tour.
Well, they had to make a budget cut because that's a milled putter.
That's why I'm saying it's dumb.
They had to save money for the purse on the PGA Tour.
The Seamus PGA Tour card costs more than that putter. The handcrafted PGA Tour card. That's cool. Those PGA Tour cards they've been doing for like 4 years, I think are cool.
Yeah. All right.
Apologize, Super Stroke. But
he's worked up. We made him mad.
I forgot about that. Thank you for putting that in there, Miles. Because when I watched the video of it, I was like, this can't be real. I was like, this just can't be
right
now. Where's Ashton Kutcher? Okay.
Fired up about the triangle. I think we struck a nerve.
We can all agree to disagree, okay?
I remember playing
Corey Pavin
in the North-South High School Golf Championship in Myrtle Beach, and a kid had these and absolutely put on a clinic.
I'm going to be honest.
Striking, bring them back.
There is only one category or ranking we can give this, and it's flush, because we don't have a picture of the top line, but the whole idea behind the VAS was it moved the hosel out of the way so you couldn't shank it. So we can't give it a shank.
Here's why I'm going to say it's a flush. Visually, it's a shank, okay?
But it's a flush.
But it's a flush because I think today is the embargo of the new launcher irons, which have zip core technology.
We're bringing the VAS back.
So I think Cleveland missed a great opportunity, though.
You never know. They might bring it back.
Hey, I mean, they need something to revitalize.
Like I said,
I was gonna say,
won a major.
I say it defined his career.
And Corey Pavin.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you can put an overall grade on that, Miles. So just next.
I gave it flush. Don't hate it.
I don't hate it. But I'm just saying he's funny you put that up there yet. You see that though in their new irons? The new Cleveland's come out that have zip core in them. Yeah. The ball's gonna zip. Gonna spin back a 5-iron.
Nice.
What?
Yeah, the aluminum ferrules.
Yeah, aluminum ferrules from BB&F Co.
Are those BB&F?
Yeah. I like them.
Yeah, he's been doing the
flush.
He just started a thing too. You can pay $50, and if you want to do a custom aluminum ferrule, and he'll design
turtles.
So,
time for turtle ferrules.
I know he's got one called Florida Man that.
It's Tiger Woods'
mugshot. I'm not going to let you. I was going to ruin it and let you look it up and find it out for yourself.
He has the Kobe ferrules.
He's got some
the Kobe ferrules, the 8 and 24s.
He's got dollar bills too.
Yeah, you can get the.
Yeah.
The reason I like these is more of the nerdy side.
I can't remember.
Is when you go to purchase these, in the description, he tells you how this is going to affect the swing weight of your golf club.
Yeah.
And that, like, to me, that's really important and crucial in a building process is you're also placing weight above the hosel.
Right.
So it's going to affect the balance point. So I'm going to give it a flush because he's not doing it just for visual. Like, aesthetically, yeah, it's sweet and you can do whatever design. Mm-hmm. But he also brought the science and the club building aspect into it and say, you can do one of these, but here's how it affects your weight.
Yeah.
And with these, they're also reusable.
Are they going to does that make your irons a little more draw biased?
I guess in theory, if you've moved a little bit of weight to the heel, yeah.
Might be onto something there.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
We'll get him a little ring.
Or you do, and then you just got to learn how to make your irons go right. Make it as draw bias as possible.
I'm going to have to start aiming 20 yards.
No.
Right
You have to aim straight.
You have
to aim straight.
Tents on the golf course.
That's right. That's right. No, I think they're cool. I think this is the best looking ones I've seen because all the other ones have just been the standard aluminum.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't been painted.
Yeah.
I really like the way this one looks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give
it a lot of intricate detail.
There is a lot of detail in it for sure.
Yeah. Give me my dragon club.
I'm gonna give it a birdie, and the reason why is I like his other stuff a lot better than this.
You're more of a traditionalist.
He's been putting out a lot of like I don't know how to describe it, but
I don't know. The aluminum ferrules just don't do it for me. I like that traditional black like plastic ferrule, and then I like the colored rings because it reminds me of the old school Hogan irons, the McGregors, the Wilsons. It gives you that kind of that
He's been doing a lot of retro. I don't want to say retro style, but like that.
Modern retro is what I'll call it.
Modern retro kind of colorways. He hasn't had anything recently that are like, I would say, simple and bright. You know what I mean?
A lot of fun colors.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what Patagonia. I prefer. You know, what's that?
That's a very Patagonia.
Yes. Yeah. But I would definitely, if I had a set of irons that were gonna sit on the wall, I'd probably put these on.
I was gonna say, and if you look at my golf bag, you know how many different ferrules have I got? Yeah. Every iron's got a different ferrule on it. So like, I like the colors. These are cool. They're just not my thing. So I'll acknowledge they're cool and give it a birdie.
I'll see if we can strike another nerve next week.
I know. Wow.
Put up another ring. But
y'all don't like sports.
Bless his heart.
LeBron James.
That's not. Wow. Mid-season champs isn't a thing.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning back in. We hope you enjoyed the fun little segment there.
Let us know what you think of the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be curious to hear your thoughts, see how offensive or defensive we get. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the push bell notifications, and we'll catch you on the next one.